Happy Coronavirus Day, Adam and Sanish.
How are you? How are you, Amish? How's everything?
Well, I got sick and tired of look at Sanish's hair. you know,
Yeah,
I was going through the same chaos because the barber shops are
It's,
closed. The only difference is I said, you know what the hell? I'm just gonna shave my head.
oh, I was saying, why do you look like a newspaper boy who just got his first apartment? I was confused.
No, I was
I
like,
was all
I
going
can't,
on.
I can't maintain or look like Sanish. I was like, I'm not going with the caveman mode. I'm just getting rid of everything.
Oh,
I had
bro.
the same idea too, but I didn't make the commitment yet. I thought it was in my head, but
Let's all
not yet.
save our heads. It'll be a. We'll start a trend online.
Yeah. So, first of all, Adam, your father, I know he contracted coronavirus, and the good news is he recovered, right? So, how's the situation at home? Everything is good?
He did not contract coronavirus. We thought he was getting coronavirus, but then he didn't have it, so which is
Oh,
great.
which is great. So, everybody in your family is good, healthy, happy?
Everybody in my family is great. Yes.
What about you, Sanish?
Yeah, everyone in my family is pretty good. My mom was sick, but it was just the regular flu. But she's playing it cool anyway. She got tested. She got tested negative. All results were fine. Because she works at a nursing home, so she's like essentially all my family is essential workers. My brother's a doctor. My dad works for the MTA, like driving people as a bus operator. So they're constantly out and about. So just as of right now, they're all pretty good and like keep making sure they're staying safe.
So, just a quick thing. I know you guys were doing that video production thing where, how, especially traditional families, Salish, where you come from, they're not really supportive of like video production and that type of work. How did that project go? Did you guys were able to release it before coronavirus, or it just it's got mixed up in the middle of it?
Uh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know it's
Okay,
our
you're talking
struggle.
about your parents, right?
Yeah. Well, it's still we're still editing it. So it's like we were able to film it, thankfully. Like we filmed that in January, so none of this pandemic affected production. It's just been a little bit on pause as of right now, just to wait until this kind of keels over so that, we can eventually finish editing it and release it at a time where people can probably come together to watch it and at a shared viewing experience rather than releasing it online right now.
Mm.
Feels like we don't want to have that our experience with just like people watching it online.
I got you. The reason why and first of all, thank you so much. I know you guys are so busy taking the time out to come talk to me. The reason why I pulled you in is I've now worked with you guys for like over a year now, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
it's been a minute.
yeah, and I'm really selective with who I work with. And over this, 1 year or so, I've seen two young guys, college students, who are extremely professional, passionate, dedicated, creative, and the list goes on. Your work is, amazing. But I have a lot of listeners that are in the same, situation right now. Looking at coronavirus, there's going to be huge unemployment to follow right after that. And college students are going to have a very difficult time finding jobs. Now, you guys started your own business, and I don't want that sugar-coated type of stuff where you say, "Oh, dedication, hard work, drive." Tell me practically, what's the process like if you want to start your own business? You're at the perfect situation, right? Because you just tipped over from the startup phase to an established phase, where the ship just took off. So tell me, like, if a young guy in college, bachelor's, associates, coming out of that situation, wants to start his own business, what is the process like? And if it was difficult, is it easy? Is it something? How did you guys do it?
Sanish, do you want me to go first? Is this a
Yeah,
first second move?
yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. I guess my first piece of advice for anybody that wants to start their own business is, if you're gonna start a small business where you are being the primary person at like doing the stuff in the business. So like me and Sanish are the primary people who do the production. We're not like looking over people who do the production for us. You should be very passionate about what you're doing. I know that's like very corny to say right off the bat, but if you really like, if you want to start a video production business and think you're just gonna like make money and you're not passionate about it, you're gonna be broken down very quickly because the early months are very difficult. There's when you're first working in video production, you're basically doing things for free to build a list of clientele so that you can eventually like build up repertoire with them and be able to, have a good reputation with them and have them continually, end up paying you. So it's definitely important that you're passionate in the beginning. And then I guess a more practical thing for me, always think about multiple ways of revenue. Me and Sanish currently in our business are trying to find ways, especially with the coronavirus just hitting, how we can make our revenue be split between different avenues. So one avenue could be through clients, one avenue could be through stock footage, another avenue could be through consultations with people who want to be better at video production, etc. So I think it's very important that you just don't think of a business as like this one goal, like, oh, I have to make a music video for a client, which is like something that we initially started with, and you're able to like branch out and like see what you could do like with your craft altogether. So definitely multiple streams of revenue is super important, I'd say.
So diversification, diversify your income streams, and okay.
For sure. I think that's super important.
Okay. What about you, Sanish? What do you think?
Yeah, to add on to that, speaking more in terms of a general like business standpoint, not just like the video production, just to give it like for anyone who's like considering a business overall, the biggest first step is to do a little bit of research, but not get too encompassed by the research. Because I feel like what me and Adam did from our experiences, like we made sure we knew like the preliminary steps, but we didn't overthink it. Because it gets to a point where if you overthink it too much and don't act, you'll like never act. So it's almost like just jump right into it and kind of learn as you go. But like obviously you're gonna make mistakes by doing that method, but by doing those mistakes, learn from the mistakes and get better and better. And because you start earlier, me and Adam started right out of college. So obviously there's a lot of hiccups and speed bumps along the road. But by the time in like 10 years, we hope to be like, by the time we're in our 30s, it'll be a very well-established business that, we've learned from all our mistakes. So that's definitely one of the standpoints. And also, everyone's financial standpoints are different, wherever they're starting. Thankfully for like me and Adam, we had the luxury of being able to start a video production company with not that crazy of a startup cost, considering how like maybe if you want to start up a restaurant or start up a storefront, you obviously have to consider your finances in order to like start those types of businesses. So obviously make sure you're not putting yourself in a bind by starting businesses and taking out loans that you can't necessarily pay back right away. So like those are the preliminary thoughts and like ideas you should be doing research about first before just jumping in. But
one more thing, guys, and I don't know who between the two of you handles the legal aspect, but I think that's one area which really deters young people to get into business is like, what's the setup like? What do they have to do? What type of legal, is it really complicated? Is it really complicated to start your business and the accounting and tax filing and all that stuff? How do you handle it?
I guess it's a great segue because me and Sanish recently. So last year we ended up having a tax guy who did all of our taxes, and this year we decided to file our taxes for ourselves. So it was definitely a big learning experience, and I would say you should immediately, like you and your business partner should, or whoever you're working with, if it's just yourself or with another person, should immediately think of those things in your pre-planning. Like, and I agree with Sanish completely, act, start, but that definitely should be something that you shouldn't deter yourself from. And it's just a reality that you're going to have taxes and you're going to have like costs that are going to be in your business. So if I was to say any advice, definitely start an online accounting, free like online accounting software such as Waves or QuickBooks or something like that, and make sure you're logging all of your payments. Make sure you're getting receipts for everything, because you don't know when you actually are going to need those things when tax season comes. Because then if you're just like have all your payments and everything all over the place, you're just going to be so confused and you're only going to have a month to solve everything.
So Adam, over there, like, if all of us are using our debit card and we're buying coffee or we're traveling or we're doing all these different things that could be used towards business expense. So
for sure,
all those things that are logged into your bank account through your card, is there a way to use that, or do I need to get a separate software to do that?
So you need to get a separate accounting software in order for you to categorize and separate what is a business expense and what isn't a business expense. So you could buy a coffee, right? But it has to be, you have to have proof that it's a business expense with a receipt. So either you're getting coffee with a client or you're using it in your office, whatever it may be. But you can't, in your Chase account, for example, or at least that's what we have, me and Sanish have Chase, you can't categorize everything in the bank. You need an external software.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if I could pull out that information in Excel or something like that, if I have a track of all the transactions that don't go towards my business, those I can use towards, like, getting a tax deduction too, right? Everything that I did.
Correct. And yes, yeah, that's completely correct. You can also use Excel. However your method is of logging it, there are some people who still do physical logging, which is fine. And if that's the method that works for you, that's the method that works for you. But I would definitely suggest using the online logging because it's so much easier and it's much better to track your stuff.
Got it. So last closing statement from both of you. If you can give me 3 attributes, 3 qualities in just 3 words that you think are necessary to be a successful entrepreneur, what would be? Let's start with Sanish. What do you think, Sanish? What are those 3 attributes?
Okay. One word that pops into my head right away is dedication. Essentially starting a business is like having a child. Like literally, the first 5 years, it's just like you have to look over that baby for as for as long as you are. You got to be with it all the time. Like you just got to be dedicated to it because it won't be like self-sustaining for like years. And so it's a big commitment, and there's really to be honest, you're not going to see much of a profit early on for sure. So definitely dedication. The second one is it's hard. I only got one word that came to me.
You want to go word for word, Sanish? You want to go word for word? I'll do the next word.
Adam, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, great. My word would definitely be humor. You should definitely look at your business. Look at your business in light of like you're gonna make a lot of mistakes and you're just gonna like be so angry at yourself sometimes because like you're just a beginner though, so you should just like laugh at sometimes at the things that you're just like so obviously made a mistake about. So I definitely think that's super important because understanding your position and understanding yourself as a person when you're in this business, it's super important to just kind of laugh at yourself and just be like, wow, I'm so stupid. Sometimes you just got to laugh at yourself. I think that's super important.
That's true. I mean, we have so much fun and time goes faster when you're having fun and sometimes stuck in difficult situations. Sanish, you got another one in your mind now?
Yeah, definitely another word that came to me is adaptability. Being able to learn from your mistakes essentially is what are the seeds for your business to help it grow. You make a mistake, obviously you can get caught up in it. It's normal to get caught up in it. But the biggest part of that mistake is that mistake can lead to you learning how to be better and actually making your business better. So mistakes are essentially the small seeds to help the business. So adaptability is key, I'd say.
Adam?
Another word I guess I'd say is clarity. I think it's super important that everybody on your team and whoever you're working with all know the same objective and their positions very well and understanding like what their role is in the company. If somebody doesn't know what they're doing there, they're not going to work hard. And if I don't know what I'm doing or like what my purpose is in my company, I'm just not going to work as hard. So I think it's super important to like be clear with each other and be clear with people on what your aspirations are and also what your role is in the company itself.
Got
it. So kind of segue off of that. This is a hyphenated word. It's a like goal oriented. So to have goals to make sure. Not obviously you make a business and you probably have that one big goal to do what you love and make money. And that's essentially like why you make a business. The key part is to always have smaller goals and to stay goal oriented. For me and Adam, just the fact of us, like one of the first goals we had was just to establish a clean office, an office that was like functioning for us. And we obviously hit that goal, but it was a small step to getting to our bigger and larger goals. So obviously, staying goal oriented is key for a business.
Okay. Last one, Adam.
Oh no, the pressure's on me, bro. The
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
Um, I guess I guess just like I don't know what the word is. Being very like precise. I guess. Not fucking around with the finances and not fucking around with just like being very serious about what you're doing, but also taking it in a manner where you learn every day. So I mean, you can't really be just messing around when you start a business. I would guess my advice would be to really make sure you're taking it seriously and it's what you want to do.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Sanish,
it.
Sanish, closing remarks. Last thing that you'd like to add to this picture.
Last thing I'd like to add is, starting your own business is definitely a scary thing to do. But if you're really invested in that craft and that business, then it'll be worth it in the end. I will say, for me personally, it's like a roller coaster ride. A lot of highs, a lot of lows, but essentially you'll see those highs and lows as just one enjoyable ride. It'll always be scary, but as you're going through it, it's not as scary as that initial climb up. When you're in the moment, it's not that scary.
Got it. Sanish and Adam, thank you so much for your time. Again, I loved working with you for a year, and that's why I brought you on the show, because I know how authentic and genuine you guys are. And I can't wait to work on our next video with you guys. The Golden Cut Productions really, really rocks.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thanks so much.
Yes, we do.
All right. Take care, guys.
All
Peace.
right. Yeah.